and say it's great to poison the immune system of babies and very small children while the immune system is still forming, because then the immune system will never ever be as effective through their lives as it would have been left to its own devices. And this guy, Bill Gates, watch him like a bloody hawk with field glasses on. This guy is involved in everything in terms of funding through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. That is the agenda. Funding vaccinations around the bloody developing world on a massive scale. Funding things and promoting climate change being real. Putting sulfur in the bloody atmosphere, manipulate on behalf of saving the bloody planet. We need saving from Bill sodding Gates, in my view. And, he's obsessed with population control, and now he's getting in with Monsanto and bloody Bono and these people put bloody genetically modified food with these vaccines in places like Africa, because we have to have genetically modified food because then we can feed the world. No, we can't. We will starve the world because it destroys the soil, it destroys the crops, and it destroys genetic diversity. They are unbelievably, in terms of scale, drugging the young of the world, finding more and more reasons to give them drugs. Attention deficit disorder. I've got an answer to that. Give them something interesting to do, or let them express their own interest. Attention deficit disorder when I was at school. It was called being bloody stiff by what they were trying to tell me. I had a cure for it. Daydreaming out the window. No drug necessary. All this is in Brave New World. It's all a long plan. All these guys, there you go, bloody mad. And this is the other agenda. They want to kind of drug people and poison people. But there are other people with a mind of their own that actually can see this and are trying to avoid it, organic food, and with alternative methods of healing, with alternative supplements that the food no longer gives us. And the authorities like the EU and the Food and Drug Administration in America, and all these bloody crooks, they're all front agencies for the biotech and pharmaceutical cartel, and they are destroying the opposition, and they're doing something more. They're destroying any alternative to the corporate system, because they want everybody in there, no exceptions. And you know, the last time I saw a doctor, I passed him in the bloody street. All right, how you doing? And walked on. And you know, I go to a guy called Mike Lambert at the Shed Clinic on the Isle of Wight, freaking genius when it comes to healing. And you know, I feel bloody greatly, absolutely great. And I don't take this on. Anybody wants to have a word with a bloody healing genius, Shed Clinic, Isle of Wight, right? Thoroughly recommended. Now, the Fabian Society was actually named after a Roman general called Fabius, and his claim to fame was never having battles with the enemy that could prove decisive either way. His method of taking over was to weaken and weaken and weaken the enemy over a period of time, and then when they were so weak to resist, then move in. That is precisely what the system is doing. It's making us weaker and weaker. Well, people that go with it at the moment, weaker and weaker by the food we eat, the water we drink, by the electromagnetic fields that we come into, by economic suppression and manipulation. All these things are being done to weaken and weaken and weaken the target population, Fabius style, so eventually they think they can just walk in when we're too weak to resist. That's the bloody idea. Physical control. I'll get through this pretty quick. Physical control, okay, major aspect of physical control, take over the countries. This is not a map, it's a wish list. It's a wish list of countries in North Africa, the Middle East and the Near East, which they are picking off one after the other. Libya, now they're into Syria, they're starting trouble in Lebanon, they're in Iraq, they're in Afghanistan, of course they want Iran. And what they're doing is they're finding different excuses to pick off different countries, because they have to find different excuses, or people might think that there's a pattern here. This is what Libya looked like in 2007. This is what the same street looks like in 2011. This is Libya. Hey, you are free. And this is what happens when you pepper bomb cities to protect civilians from violence. What happened? I got no brief for burning Gaddafi and all that stuff, but that's not the point. What happened was that they've got this system where they want to target someone. So what they do is they fund and train rebels covertly, and they bloody arm them. And then they get the rebels to start shooting at government targets. Political response, media response. Then the governments start shooting back at the rebels. Political response, they're shooting and killing their own people. Media response, the same. Oh, we've got to send people in, a humanitarian, and in come the de facto bloody world army, NATO dropping bombs everywhere. And now they're doing the same in bloody Syria. Not a Syrian civil war, it's a mercenary bloody war, that's what that is. You know, NATO bloody weapons here at the Baltic point. This neocon organisation, the Project for the New American Century, it was behind the Bush administration, and in September 2000, before the Bush administration came in, it produced a document which called for the incoming Bush administration in America to fight, quote, multiple theatres of war in places like Libya and Syria and all these countries. But it said in the document, in September 2000, but this process of transformation, this takeover of country after country, was likely to be a long one, absent some catastrophic and catalysing event like a new Pearl Harbor. 1 year to the month after that document was published, 9 months after the same people came to power in the Bush administration, the United States had what Bush called our Pearl Harbor, and as a result, they justified the targeting of all the countries that were in that document. This is a man called General Wesley Clark, and he said this in a television interview. This is not God's gift of peace either. He led the NATO attacks in the former Yugoslavia. But he said in the television interview in 2007 that immediately after 9/11, he was told that a coup was being plotted by Dick Cheney, Vice President then, Don Rumsfeld, Defense Secretary, Paul Wolfowitz, Defense Secretary Deputy, and what he called a half a dozen other collaborators from the Project for the New American Century that included an invasion of Iraq. 6 weeks later, he said, he was back with the guy, and he saw the same officer, and he said, why haven't we attacked Iraq? Are we still going to attack Iraq? And this officer said to him, this is again, after 9/11, 6 weeks, sir, it's worse than that. The officer pulled up a piece of paper off his desk and said, I just got this memo from the Secretary of Defence's office. It says we're going to attack and destroy the governments in 7 countries in 5 years. We're going to start with Iraq, and then we're going to move to Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Iran. And Clark said the aim of the plot was they wanted us to destabilise the Middle East, turn it upside down, and make it under our control. And that is the agenda that's been followed, and all these excuses to pick off country over country are just that, bloody excuses. And of course, one of the things they want is to get to the China and Russian border. They want a third world war with China and Russia. We've been in their documents for ages. And so what we're seeing are these people going through the Middle East using different excuses to pick off their target countries. America stands for freedom. We want to protect Brazilians. We only care about peace. Ah, only kidding, only kidding. Is Hillary speaking? No, I just love it. Oh, yes, I love it. Syria next, kill them. Oh, I love it. There you are, that's good. So we're looking around. We're looking around, and this is how many wars they have instigated or fought since the Second World War. Actually, that's how many they've instigated for about 200 bloody years. This is how many the USA has fought with Britain in tag most of the bloody time since the Second World War. These are American bases around Iran. Who's threatening who, one wonders? Iranians are just the same as you and me. People that just want to get on with their lives and their families and all the rest of it. But let's demonize them. Let's demonize them. Let's bomb them. Why? We have no hearts. We love death. These bloody pillocks doing all this stuff. Violent extremists. Yeah, look in the bloody mirror. Look at them. Talk about inversion. The bloody terrorists fighting terrorism. I love it. War is peace. Slavery is freedom. Ignorance is strength. What is that? Occultic inversion. It's all that bloody movie that we're coming through, and it's all leading up to World War III. I'm not going to go into this in bloody detail because of time, but Rothschild Zionism, which is actually not about Jewish people, it's about a secret society created and instigated and controlled by the Rothschilds, that the Jewish people is used as the bloody front to cover the real thing about Rothschild Zionism, which is a bloody secret society and part of the cabal. But the Rothschilds, named after Saturn and all this stuff, they built the Knesset, they built the Supreme Court building, and what they do is that anyone that challenges the Rothschilds and Rothschild Zionism and its agenda, they are called anti-Semitic and all this stuff. As this lady says, anti-Zionism is not anti-Semitism, and even bloody Orthodox Jewish rabbis are saying, you're bloody sane. You don't have to be a Jewish to be a Zionist. That's what Joe Biden said. Absolutely you don't. Most bloody great, Zionists in America are Christian bloody Zionists, leading bloody Armageddon. And you get Orthodox Jews who absolutely oppose Zionism. Another Jew against Zionism. I'm Jewish and I want Israel to stop killing Palestinians. Jews against the occupation. These are wonderful Jewish young people. People refuse to serve in the military and do this to Palestinian bloody kids. That's what we need. How many people know that this is going on between Jewish people and armed military? How many people know this is going on? This is the dynamic between a country of 300 plus million and one of less than 8 million. Why? Because the Rothschilds are the controllers of Israel and they're controllers of the USA, and they're different hands on the same bloody body. And it's all this money that's handed by America to Israel. It ain't going to the rank and file Israelis. This is 400,000 people on the streets of Israel last year because of their economic situation. 2 people at least have set fire to themselves in bloody protest. And what we bloody need so much is for the people of Israel who are being suppressed by their bloody hierarchy, come together in common cause with Palestinians and Americans and British and Australians and Africans who are being suppressed by their hierarchy. And realise that all those hierarchies are the same frickin' hierarchy. Let's come together. It's their worst bloody nightmare. This is why America and Israel work as one unit. They're both controlled by the same bloody lot. This is why he won't say a word, or any other president, when this mayhem and slaughter is going on. What's happening in Palestine is frickin' genocide. No other word for it. Of an entire national, racial, religious or ethnic group. This is Rothschild Zionism, this is Rothschild Zionism, so is bloody this. All the time, Palestinian homes, often for generations, bulldozed to make way for these bloody fanatics and these bloody crazies in the military and government. Yeah, we're going to build a wall, we're going to take the land, no one's going to say anything, this is bloody Israel. Controlled by the Rothschilds. No one says no to the Rothschilds, they know the consequences. Hey, Palestinian children's playground, we want it for our war. Genocide. Bloody genocide. This is Palestinian land, the green, in 1946, 1947, 1967. Today, genocide, the systematic and widespread extermination or attempted extermination of an entire national, racial, religious or ethnic group. This is going on before our eyes. We never let it happen again. We're watching it happen again. The bloody Zion, the bloody Zion. This is not all about Jewish people and the benefits. They were hung out to dry in bloody Germany. They'll be hung out to dry again whenever it suits these people. That's the bloody thing. The elephant in the living room. And people are terrified of talking about it.